to one another. And there wasn't many teenagers, and she was one. And I will be very honest, I was very shocked when Icla did pass because I didn't see that happening. Sorry, I'm actually tearing. I'm sorry. Your sister was so warm, and this foundation that you're doing is amazing because it is hard. It's very, very hard. Um, they always give you the worst case scenario, but you're always hoping for the best. And I think of your sister often. I look at my cancer book a lot, and I do appreciate you having me a part of it. I know I haven't seen you in person, but I'm always, thinking about your family and your mother and, everybody. And I really appreciate you asking me to speak, and I'm very emotional right now. Your sister was a wonderful person, and you're continuing her legacy, and it's a great thing. So I thank you for that. And your sister's legacy will live on forever, even if it's little people's memories or with your help. It's all in love from your family through her. And yeah, I'm honored to be speaking for, for her. Your sister was all about helping people, making lives easier. And again, I cannot repeat it enough. Her smile was just contagious, and it warmed so many people. And yeah, just share and be nice to people when you see them, because you don't know what their battles are. So just a simple smile is contagious and could go a long way. So that's one big thing that I have to say that is the most simplest gesture of all. And your sister's smile went a long way.
Thank you, Meredith. I know you're here with us. It means a lot for me to know you and know you that you spend this time with Eclin for those beautiful words. I also, you mean a lot to me, and I look forward to continue to, be in touch with you. I want to take a moment to thank everyone, with the comments and participating with us. Some amazing individuals here. I won't even start sharing some of their stories, but I did see Ty Phillips, one of our former patients, one of the first patients to receive a bone marrow transplant from one of the donors that Icla recruited, and so many other patients that we have worked in the last few years here. So thank you all for joining. Feel free to make comments and share some of your thoughts. Um, Next, I want to share, and I'm sure many of you are aware of the notes that Icla left. After she passed away, my family and I, we went back to Brazil, and my dad had to come back to the US to close the apartment. And we found this note that we don't know why she wrote, but it said, "Dear mommy, I don't want to see you sad. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I want you to help my friends." Although she always mentioned in the hospital that she wants to start a foundation after she was cured, because she was going to many events and bone marrow drives and helping other patients in the hospital. So she had this big heart that she wants to help others. In addition, we learned that some of the bone marrow donors that we recruited ended up being a match to other patients, and that the work that we were doing already were already saving lives. So that's one of the main reasons that the foundation started. And today, now our mission is to save lives of patients with disease whose only cure is a bone marrow cord blood transplant by providing financial assistance such as transportation, lodging, housing, meals, and also providing logistical and emotional support, finding a matching donor, referring patients to medical centers, navigating the medical care field. as you know, and as you hear today, you can imagine when a family is diagnosed, someone in the family is diagnosed with such a disease, one of the family members has to stop working, and there are so many other financial challenges that they face. And that's why we are here. And we will hear from some of those patients today. Next, I want to welcome and thank. First, I want to thank all the partnerships that we have built in the last year and a half. Today, we work with 214 social workers in the US from 130 hospitals. I listed some of the logos here, and we are continue to work closely with them to identify those families whose barrier to transplant are financial. And we want to make sure that there's no more delays in treatment or that there are challenges that put them in risk of not receiving a transplant. And out of those 214 social workers who have been amazing, we have a special guest. One of those is William Castillo. He's a bone marrow transplant social worker from Loma Linda University in California. Let me bring William to join us. William, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, now, so if you can share a few words about your experience as a social worker working on the front line with those patients that are about to receive a transplant as the only cure for their disease. Now, if you can share a few words about working with us in the last year and a half and a little bit about the patients, we would really appreciate for those who are not so familiar with the treatment and about what we do.
Of course, of course. Yeah, like I mentioned, my name is William Castillo. I work here at Loma Linda Children's Hospital here in Loma Linda, California. And I just wanted to come on here to express my appreciation for Icla de Silva, and for all they've done, not only for the social work department, but more importantly for our patients. It's heartwarming and amazing to see all the people on the chat, from all parts of life, from everywhere. I even saw someone from Linwood, California, which is where I'm from, which really is heartwarming to see. But like I mentioned, Icla de Silva has been a huge, huge help for so many patients in our hospital that need a bone marrow transplant as the only form of treatment here. Um, and so, really quickly, I just wanted to share my role as a social worker, as the bone marrow transplant social worker. So, my role here, besides the emotional support, is to try and provide the family with those supports that are outside of the medical aspect of things. So I want to connect them with as many resources as I can. And Icla de Silva has been my number one resource for a long time. Um, the reason being is because they focus on the bone marrow transplant itself, and there are many different diagnoses that require a bone marrow transplant. Some are cancers, some are not. And though cancer has its fair share of resources, there are some times where other diagnoses may fall through the wayside. Let's say aplastic anemia or sickle cell or monosomy 7, more blood-related diseases. At times, there's very, very little resources that will, provide financial support for them. And so Icla de Silva has been huge, huge for those families. And from what I've seen, tragedy unfortunately doesn't stop the rest of the other parts of life, and so I see a lot of families that come and they just have, this tragedy has struck, but at the same time, the bills still need to get paid, and the card note still needs to get paid. And so that's where Isla de Silva has really, really helped out our families, especially like when Ira mentioned, sometimes we have families that are single mother, single father, and they are the only one that works, and they have two, three kids, and one of them is in the hospital for the bone marrow transplant. As many of you may know, it's at times it's 1 to 2 months, even three if there's complications. And so for that whole time, a lot of parents want to stay by their side, and it causes the parents a lot of guilt as well if they have to leave and continue working. And so having a 1 month of rent paid for them, or those gas assistance, is such a huge help for the families. And um, the best part is seeing relief, even though they may not find relief in terms of they still have to go through the treatment. At least they can find relief in knowing that a part of their financials is being taken care of, and that does go a really, really long way. And so I'm very, very happy to be working with Icla de Silva, and all the financial resources and emotional resources that they provide. And I just ask if you can provide your support, please do, because it really does mean a lot to the families, and it helps them get an extra boost of hope in what is for a lot of these families the most difficult point in their life. And so I feel very blessed to be able to work with this population, to be able to work with bone marrow transplant. It has definitely taught me a lot as an individual, and it's definitely a pleasure to work with Icla de Silva and with Ira. And so thank you very much for having me, and I hope people can lend their support.
No, thank you, William, and thank you so much for your words. And yeah, I mean, I get many calls, as you probably imagine, when the families receive that check, when they we already receive an eviction letter, and then that avoids that being evicted when they have their other kids in the hospital,
Correct.
other kids at home that needs a place to stay, and of course, even for them to go back after the transplant, they need a clean, safe home. So, and William and all the social workers out there, I thank you for all your work and your attention that you give to those patients and to partnering with us, in this cause and making Icla's wish of saving lives and helping others a reality. So thank you, William, for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you guys for all the help and support that you guys lend our patients. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here today. Feel free to continue to comment on the chat and make and ask any question. Maybe we can you know uh, clarify anything to you. But I just want to give you a quick update on our patient assistance program. In 2022 was the first year of our program. We helped 223 patients with financial, logistic, and emotional support. For the first 6 months of 2023, that number almost double. We already helped 363. As you can see on the graph on the right, on my right, this is the number of applications that are receiving on a monthly basis. As our program becomes more known through the social workers in the hospitals, and they identify those patients with critical need, those applications are coming in. And we need everyone's support because we cannot say no to those patients. So we want to make sure that we continue to raise the needed funds to continue to help those patients. And every cent counts, no matter what it is. We want to make sure that when many of those patients come to us, many times that's the only resource they might have based on their condition. So I want to share this with you that the program continue to grow, and together we will continue to help more patients. Next, I want to invite a very special person to me to give an update. Caroline, as you can see here on those pictures, she was a patient many years ago who needed a bone marrow transplant. And on the picture, you can see a picture of myself with her bone marrow donor, Eduardo, and her when she was a little girl. And more towards my right, you can see a picture of her now. And she will share a few words with you. Now she's freshman year at Oklahoma University. She is a big soccer player. She's playing Division One there. We play around with her, saying that Eduardo, being Brazilian, her donor was Brazilian, gave her some of those Brazilian soccer genes. So I want to invite her to join now. Hi, Carolina.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us today. And we continue to celebrate you and your donor, and we love you to share a few words with us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. The Icla de Silva Foundation has done so much for me. and I was able to find my donor through them. And I've gotten to experience like going through high school and prom and graduating high school and now going on to play soccer at Oklahoma State University. And I just want to say a big thanks to everything that you do, Iram, and just like your dedication. And I just thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Caroline. And how does it feel to be the first year, freshman in college?
It's super exciting. A little nerve wracking to be away from home, but I'm super excited for what the future holds.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you still stay in contact with your donor. You're celebrating 13 years since your bone marrow transplant, and you guys still in contact. Can you share a little bit more about your relationship with him and your contact?
I would say I like to stay in contact more than I do, but every year on June 29th, we reach out to each other and we just kind of say happy anniversary because that's when I had my bone marrow transplant. And I think it's just like a beautiful relationship to have with someone that like saved your life. So getting to reach out and talk to him is a blessing, and I wish I stayed in contact more with him, but I owe him my life.
Beautiful, Caroline. Well, thank you very much. Please enjoy college, and we'll continue to see you now as playing soccer there and being so successful. And my regards to your family, and thank you for joining us today to share a few words.
First, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And again, this beautiful picture of Caroline and here, and it means a lot to me to keep in touch with those patients and families. And I know there are a number of you here on the call today. So thank you for joining us this evening. Next, I want to invite John, Emmett's dad, to join us today and share a little bit about Emmett.
Hello, thank you. It's always so hard to start because I feel like he's only 2.5 years old, but it seems like there's like so much that he's gone through. He feels like a kind of a 30-year-old little old man. My son Emmett has a kind of strange rare disease called HLH. If you want to look it up, it's very similar to cancer, but not quite cancer. But it is treated with chemotherapy and a bone marrow transplant, which they never want to say the word cure, but it is what gives him the longest and healthiest possible life. We are going on about 2 years of him being sick out of his almost 3 years of life, but we didn't know how sick he was for a long time, and he was in and out of the ER for a long time. And finally, this most recent admission was back in February, and he has been in the hospital since then. So, Icla de Silva, the foundation gave us time. It gave us the mortgage payment. It gave me time to be at his bedside as much as humanly possible, to advocate for him every day, and to learn and to find out what was going on with him every day. Because he was admitted in mid-February. It was almost 5 weeks before we had a name for what he had. And every day was kind of a little bit of a mystery of what we were going to do next and what would help him the most. So I say thank you, but not enough. I can't say it enough. But it really gave us the gift of like time and taking away some of that, like the fear and the mystery that was there every day of not knowing what we were going to do the next day. So there's so much more to say, but I'm open to questions, of course.
No, John, thank you very much for joining us today. And I want to again share those beautiful pictures of Ahmad, and we wish him and or your family the best. I know it's a lot. We can count on us, and we thank you myself and all the donors and support of the foundation, we thank you to give you the opportunity to give you that time and give the support that you need so you guys can go through this transplant. So um, I appreciate you and thank you for joining us today.
Oh, one more thing.
Sure.
Because I'm still alive. I will say that the picture in the middle is February, before we really knew how sick he was, and he was like 13 kilos or something like that, right? The picture on the right is pretty recent, but I think is more like 25. So he was on steroids and he gained so much weight. So those are the same child. Many people have asked if those two pictures are brothers, but that is Emmett. And he actually does have a brother named Oscar who was his bone marrow donor, which is another amazing part of the whole thing. But anyway, I just wanted to clarify which of those pictures were which, and it is the same child who was just on steroids for a very long time.
No, thank you, and I that's why I shared those 3 pictures of Icla as well, because she went on 3. Those
Yep.
so different, right? From before treatment, doing treatment, and now doing treatment with a wig. So I thank you for sharing that with us, and your family's in our hearts, and please let's keep in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next is someone very special, is Christina. We met Christina quite a while ago, I believe it was last year, and then she has been in touch with us. She shared a video with us that we shared in our gala in New York City, and we had kept in touch, and it gives me so much joy to see her with her sons and know how she's progressing post transplant. I just want to share those beautiful pictures of Christina here through different phases as well. And I would love to invite her to join us live today. Let me do this here. Look how beautiful she looks. Thank you, Christina, for joining us. And
Thank you.
I would love for us to share with us some updates. A lot of us here did see the videos at the gala and we cried together. And, you were very emotional. And I would love to hear more, how you have been. You look great.
Thanks. Yeah, that's miracle of science, right? It's been a year post transplant, and but a little bit more than that because I had some complications that I didn't expect, and I just say that to say that AML, cancer, all of it is very unexpected, and having RM there and being part of Dana-Farber's Cancer Institute's support system so that they could then support me was just huge. I was sick for quite a long time before I got diagnosed. I wondered what was going on with me for a long time. I missed work. I missed a lot of things. And so stuff gets backed up really quick. And I don't think people maybe don't always realize that sometimes before diagnosis, you're sick for a really long time and are already kind of messed up in life with finances and other things. I'm a single mom, so I didn't have another person to go and work. So it was really crucial to have support foundations like Icla de Silva Foundation to support me financially in the ways that he did around my transplant. It took away stress and it gave me support and it gave me a friend and it gave me a family member.
Thank you, Christine. And yeah, I mean, you share with us that, the financial support, of course, was critical being a single mom and, afraid of missing your rent and all that. And to be able to provide for your sons. But you also said something to me that really made me think. You said more than the financial support or just being a friend and just being there and keeping in touch with you and listening. So it meant a lot to me and everyone who supports the organization and makes this possible. So,
Yes.
it is so much involved doing treatment. So, but I am extremely happy to see how good you are, and let's
Same.
keep in touch. Continue to celebrate. You are inspiration to so many patients who are going through this now, and I love to see that video that you sent of you go is now in the snow with your sons for the first time. That
Yeah.
you missed that meant so much to me and really keeps us going. So I'm glad that you were able to be a little part of your journey to transplant. So
It was huge. Like I said before, you really just put some light in a really dark space for me. And that I will always remember. Lighthouses. Lighthouses. Yeah.
now,
Really are.
now, thank you for joining us today,
Of course.
and let's keep in
My
touch.
pleasure and honor.
I would love to keep getting more updates from you, and I want to share with everybody. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, next, one more. Unfortunately, Tony and Brooklyn was not able to join us today. Brooklyn is a 14 years old who received a transplant, and she is here actually in Texas. And the family really needed financial assistance. I hope they are doing well. I will follow up with them after the event, but I just want to share with you a little bit about Brooklyn and they are very happy to receive our support. It was very needed. And hopefully, I'm sure there'll be other opportunities for them to join us as well. Next, I would like to invite Oscar to join us. Oscar is here with his daughter, and I have a few pictures of Oscar with his family. He's in California, and he received a transplant about 45 days ago, if I'm correct, and he received a transplant from his daughter, as you can see her in the middle picture here when she donated bone marrow. So I'll let Oscar tell a little bit more about his story and also have Belen share a little bit about her, donating bone marrow to her dad.
Hi, my name is Oscar. Thank you for the invitation and for having me. As you mentioned, yeah, today is the 47 days after my transplant. What happened? Yes, May 26 this year. I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin follicular lymphoma back in 2016. Almost 7 years dealing with this, and finally this year I received from my daughter. She's 19 years old, and I received the bone marrow, and it's a blessing to receive this treatment. And even though it was the hardest treatment that I received, many chemotherapies before, many different kind of chemotherapy, being in a hospital back in 2021, I be treated with stem cells, my own cells transplant, but that doesn't work very well. So by finally this year, I received it from my daughter, and we thank you for all your organization, Icla da Silva, that the support they give us is a blessing, and is a huge um, for us. Is a huge help that you provide us, and thank you so much for all you are done.
No, thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Belen. How you doing? The donation went fine.
Yeah, I'm really good. And I was also really glad to be a part of this and to be able to donate for my dad. Um, yeah, it's just a big blessing.
No, thank you. And thank you both for joining today. Oscar, now 47 days of post transplant. That's amazing. I'm glad that we were able to be there when you need it, and so that to ease the process of your transplant. And let's keep in touch as well with the support of everyone.
Thank
We
you.
continue to have more patients like you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
God bless you.
All right, thank you. I just want to thank everyone. We are getting close to the end of our event tonight. I want to thank everyone who donated to the foundation to support our cause. As of today, we raised close to $20,000, and I can share with you that this definitely will continue to remove more barriers to transplant for patients. And if you have not had a chance to donate yet, please do so. I'm sure we will, post a link on, on the Facebook post and on the chat, or of course, you can always, go to our website at icla.org to donate. And as you know, every donation, every cent makes a difference, and continue to support those patients. So please do so. I want to share with you too that now we have Friends of Icla monthly donors. If you want to make a financial contribution on a monthly basis, so you don't have to worry or remember, now that's fantastic that we'll continue to provide families on a monthly basis, no matter how small, how large your donation is. Please join our Friends of Icla. If you go to our website, you also can find more information there about Friends of Icla monthly donors. We have a number of individuals already who is making that contribution, and I appreciate all of you. So thank you for all those who donated for this campaign, and we continue. It doesn't end here. As you know, the number of patients that we are going to help only with your support. Without your support, the number of applications that we are getting now is way more than we can support, and we don't want to stop. We don't want to say no to patients. Now, the pile of patients that are getting financial assistance, requesting financial assistance, continue to grow, and we will not be able to continue without your financial support. So please do so. I want to one more time now thank everyone. Friends of Icla. Now, here's the link for you to make a donation. You can send a text message to Icla's Wish to 41444 to make a donation, or you can always go to our website. This is one of our patients as well, Larissa, and her quote was, "Your foundation has saved my home, helped my children, and myself. I'm just so grateful." And I want to share this with you because it's because of your support that we continue to help patients like Larissa. And also, of course, I want to thank all our sponsors that year after year they come through and they provide the financial assistance and support for our cause. It takes everyone to participate, so I want to thank all the sponsors as well for their support. I also want to take this time to invite you, if you are in New York City, New Jersey area, our next event will be on Tuesday, August 1st. It's going to be a happy hour in New York City at 6 p.m. at Brazilian Steakhouse, Fogo de Chão. Please join us. Come, have a good time. I'll be there. I would love to say hello. Make sure you RSVP as soon as possible. It's a limited space, so please go to icla.org and the information is there for you to RSVP. And I'd love to see many of you there. So I want to thank you all for attending today, for participating. I just want to remind you that if you are on Facebook, please find our events there, share with your friends. Now share the post by clicking the little arrow on the back. The more people that watch this, the more support we are going to receive, and the more patients we are going to be able to help. Again, the number of patients we are receiving is much higher than we can support at the moment. So it's everyone's participation and involvement that's going to make a big difference. So thank you all for joining today. And I look forward to see you in our next event or next opportunity. Thank you.